Hi, boys and girls. This is going to be a video on Friday's independent study guide packet pages. You will need to get out your independent study guide, and I'd like you to flip to the page that says soil up at the top. Soil. I'm going to read this text to you. That's all that I will do, and you'll need to answer the question at the very bottom. It asks, what's the main idea of the two passages, which means what are these two passages mostly about? What is the main idea? Soil is the title of the text. Let's study the earth by learning about the part of it that we are most familiar with, the soil. Soil is found on the uppermost layer of the Earth's crust. Soil, what is soil? Soil is a mixture of four main ingredients: weathered rock, organic matter, air, and water. The weathered rock can be in the form of sand, silt, clay, pebbles, or larger rocks. Organic matter can be anything from old leaves, dead animals and plants, to microorganisms, tiny living things like bacteria. The last two ingredients are air and water. Without air and water, the microorganisms found in the soil cannot live, grow, or help dead matter to decay. Why is soil so important? Soil is important because it provides a place where organisms and bacteria can live. Plants rely on soil for nutrients, water, and mineral salts. Plants in turn provide the oxygen that we breathe, the food that we eat, the clothes we wear, and the foundation and building materials we use to make our homes. We cannot meet our basic needs without soil. You'll need to reread those two passages and tell me what's the main idea of these two passages, which means what are these two passages mostly about? After you're finished writing your answer, you'll need to go down to the next page, which is recycling resources. You'll read these two paragraphs and answer the sentences down below. Recycling resources. Follow along with me. Getting and processing natural resources can require a lot of energy. This can create pollution. Recycling existing goods into other materials can save energy and reduce waste. There are many ways each of us can help. Buying less, reusing what we can, composting, and recycling are some ways to save natural resources. How can you help? Some of these we're probably familiar with, like recycling is where we take paper and cans and other things and we put them in our recycling bin and they are sent off to a factory where they're melted down and used again. That way they don't just go into the ground to take up space and cause pollution. That's recycling. One that we might not be as familiar with is composting. Composting is when we take things that we eat, like our sandwiches, our vegetables, our fruits, anything that we can eat that goes into our body, and we put that food back into the dirt. When we do that, it's called composting, and what happens is that food breaks down and gives the soil nice vitamins and nutrients. So it's really good for the soil when we put those old food scraps that we don't want, that we would just throw away. We can put those back into the soil and it can give it more vitamins and be better soil so that we can plant new vegetables and fruits. Down below, there are ways that you can help. You can help by buying less. List something that you can buy less of. So if you're somebody that likes, say your parents like to go to Starbucks or McDonald's and get coffee, maybe you can buy less Starbucks or coffee, because remember, every time that we go to fast food, they give us those paper and plastic cups. And when you use paper and plastic, all of that has to be thrown away and then we create more pollution. But if we can use coffee from our houses and cups from our house and just rinse out the cup, then we can reuse it and that creates much less pollution. So what is something that you can buy less of that might help the environment? What's something that you can use less of? For me, I can try to use less lights in my house. So maybe I should turn off the lights when I'm not using them. That will use less energy and that would create less pollution. How can you save energy? Just like I said, I would turn off my lights. Maybe you would turn off your TV when you're not watching it, turn off your tablets, anything that would create less energy. What can you compost? Well, tonight for breakfast, I had I had some rice and I had some tortillas and I had a couple scraps on my plate. So instead of maybe putting my tortilla scraps and my rice scraps down the garbage, I could have just put them out into the dirt outside in a composting pile and created more vitamins for the soil or dirt. What's something you can recycle? There's a lot of different things that you can recycle at your house. And lastly, think of one thing that you can do that was not in the article that we have not talked about that can create a better, healthier, and cleaner world.